Oh my gosh, am I a relieved man today? What a relief. The stadium thing is finally over, and the teams are staying in Missouri, and it's all done and resolved, and we know everything about what they're going to do. God, this is a great feeling. I expect the Chiefs and Royals, what? They're going to have news conferences before this show's over at 11 o'clock today. They're going to tell us they're all in Missouri. Everything's done. It's over. We're going to renovate Arrowhead. We're going to build a walkway. It's going to be nice. We're going to put $1.2 billion into the stadium. I'm not sure how. We haven't seen any of that. The Royals clearly are going downtown. That's done. It is over, folks. What a great day. It was good to hear Mayor Q take his victory lap today. It was great to hear the state senator from north of Kansas City, Curtis Gregory, say the Kansas bid was real. Past tense, was real. He later amended that and said, well, I'm not 100% sure, just more like 99% sure that this is over and they're staying in Missouri. Folks, this was a huge step and a big deal by the state of Missouri, something that nobody thought was going to happen as recently as 24 hours ago. It looked like it wasn't going to happen. Missouri, Jackson County, Clay County, and Kansas City, Missouri have been swimming in a sea of futility for 4 years on this issue. There was no reason to believe they were ever going to get back into this thing. And they get back in a huge way. And we will credit Curtis Gregory, who said, I can't take all the credit, but he got it done. The Republicans in Missouri got it done. Governor Kehoe got it done. The Republicans they're acting. This thing isn't any new taxes. It's just the sales tax. It's the Star Bond that's been around for 25 years in Kansas. Missouri just copied it for one thing, the Royals and Chiefs. There's nothing new here. There's actually less. It's 50% versus 70%. But they know they can make up for it in their counties and municipalities, the other 20%, with county taxes, municipal taxes, rental car taxes, whatever it may be. They know that they can do that. Now, they haven't proven they can do that. The Chiefs and Royals will have to take that on a leap of faith to make some sort of an announcement before June 30th that they're saying no thanks to Kansas. And that may happen. I can see that happening. The headline here of the entire thing is not the Royals. We know what the Royals want. The Royals have wanted to stay in Missouri from day one. We know what they prefer. We know what they want. The headline here is a question. What does Clark Hunt want? Does he want to refurbish his stadium again, or does he want to build a shiny new stadium? And I guess we're all of the assumption now that Kansas is just going to roll over and play dead? That the competition is suddenly over? I've been the guy that's been talking about competition for months. Competition is great. Let these states compete. They were both in a position where there was nothing to lose by offering the tax. Can nobody see that? So the state of Kansas doesn't have the tax revenue, so why not lure them and use all the tax revenue to pay for it? Missouri was in a position to lose all the tax revenue, so why not give all the tax revenue toward the stadiums? The Chiefs and Royals couldn't lose here. This has been the best deal ever. I've repeatedly said over and over and over, I've never seen an owner turn down 70%. Well, according to Mayor Q and the senator from the Northland, Curtis Gregory, it sounds like Missouri's going to get to 70%. They got 50% from the state, and they believe they'll get at least another 20% from counties and cities for these teams. So it looks like a match. It does look like a match, but there is no, Mayor Q's just wrong on this. So this is a better offer. We've got the city and county money. Well, you don't have that yet. Neither offer has that yet. What we have is two state offers, 70% in Kansas, 50% in Missouri. That's where this is. And it isn't signed into law yet, Missouri. We're assuming it's a given that the House will pass it. We know Kehoe will sign it. But right now, the offer is 50% versus 70% until Jackson County passes a vote or Mayor Q comes up with a number and says, here, we're going to divert all this rental car money someday, and it's just going to keep going on and on and on because we never get rid of taxes, and it'll go to the Royals, theoretically, or the Chiefs. We don't know. And so we're to believe today that Wyandotte County is not going to step forward and have a news conference and say, we're going to try to do something to lure the Chiefs? We'd like to have a sales tax in Wyandotte County? We think Overland Park went to all the trouble of looking at that Sprint campus site for the Royals, and we're all in on changing traffic flow and roads and parking and all the things that Overland Park was doing in the county of Johnson, and that they won't try to lure a business like that to their county or their city, that they're just going to quit? We've never heard from any county or city in Kansas. And at this point, let me remind everybody, we don't have any money from any county or city in Missouri. Zero. It expires in 2030. There's nothing left there. It has to be done again. Now, Mayor Q makes a point. There's a history of the county and the city stepping up and doing that. There is a history of that. That doesn't mean other cities can't do it. That Kansas City, Kansas, or Wyandotte County can't do it. Look, I think if you're asking me, I'm going to put the Royals' odds of being in Missouri, and I say Missouri, not downtown, because I don't know if Washington Square Park is downtown. I don't think north of the river is downtown. I don't know where they're going to go downtown. I'm not sure they should be downtown. With all the crime in the area there, all the smash and grabs, I would think north of the river looks like the site for me. But I've said that. It's just my opinion. Royals get to do whatever they want. I'll put them at over 90% they're going to be in Missouri. But they're going to need county and city money to do that. They're not going, if the Royals are spending $2 billion on a new stadium, right now, as it sits today, staying in Missouri, they're $400 million light from what Kansas' offer is. It's 20% lower in Missouri. That's $400 million short still today. Even if this passes and gets signed into law, they're $400 million light of what they can get in Kansas. $400 million. $400 million light on a $2 billion new stadium. It has to come from the county and city. Then what happens if a county or city in Kansas steps up? What if Wyandotte County and Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas City, Kansas step up? Say, you know what? We were this close on the Chiefs. We know they're serious about moving to the Legends. We'd love to have a Super Bowl in our state. It's sitting at 70% now. What if Wyandotte County and the city, and I don't know, what if it's a bi-county vote? What if Johnson County and Wyandotte County get together and say, we're both going to pass some sort of little tax? It's good for us because, I don't know, the Chiefs' practice facility and their corporate office and their Hall of Fame and all this stuff might be in Johnson County. What if it becomes a bi-county issue between the two? And they do, 3/8 cents sales tax. What would that generate? And would the Chiefs get to, are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Could they get to 100% of everything paid for? They're sitting at 70. Your move, Kansas. Missouri has essentially said, checkmate, we just beat you. Well, you didn't. You matched Kansas. You matched Kansas with a program that Kansas has had for 25 years. What Kansas hasn't done is a lot of the stupid things Missouri's done at the county and city level, throwing away money at the expense of actual government services. They've done that for the Chiefs and Royals a long time. And maybe the Chiefs and Royals feel guilty about that and want to stay because the city and county have done so much for them for so long. That's a good reason to stay. The best reason for the Chiefs to stay, this isn't close. The best reason is outdoor football. My fear all along has been if the Chiefs move to Kansas, it's a dome stadium, and every coach that will ever coach the Chiefs going forward is going to say, close the roof because it's louder. Close the roof because it's louder. A lot of these dome stadiums suck. They're awful because the big open part is either never open or it's not big enough. The Chiefs sort of fell in love with something they saw in Germany last year, and it was best described as a curtain or a screen that goes over the stadium on cables and beams. It's not really a dome, but when it's really, really, really cold, let's say it's 10 degrees, 5 degrees, you could warm the stadium up to about 40 or 35. It's not a pure dome. If you had that thing like they had, was it Hamburg where they were last year? Is that where they played? The last time the Chiefs were in Germany was at Hamburg?
Or Frankfurt, I can't.
Frankfurt, it's exactly right, Frankfurt. That stadium, you can heat up by about 30 or 40 degrees when it's really cold. It doesn't get you to 72, but it ensures that the rest of the time you have an open air stadium, which is what that stadium was in Frankfurt. And it was pretty cool. Will it look sort of second class compared to other NFL stadiums that can be covered up? Yes, but it actually suits the purpose of keeping outdoor football. And that is the best reason, not because Lamar Hunt was the founder of the Chiefs and he built Arrowhead. That's a lame reason. Clark Hunt's a better owner than Lamar. Clark Hunt's legacy in this town will be greater than Lamar's. He's passed his dad. He has. He's a better owner in every way. He's a better owner and better steward and a better businessman. He's better everything than his dad. He's run laps around his dad. It's the rare case of junior being better than senior, right? Well, that's happened. He's done it. And keeping the stadium for that reason, to me, is a lame reason. Now, it's his family and his dad. I mean, would I do that for my dad? I'd be like, sorry, Dad, we got this thing we're going to go do here. No, we got something else. It's bigger and better, and we're going to do it my way now because it's mine, but you were awesome. But maybe that's not Clark. We just don't know what Clark Hunt wants to do. We don't know. The revenue difference between a renovated Arrowhead and a brand new stadium at the Legends is significant. The other caveat in this don't know is they keep saying in Missouri that they're up to, it's a $500 million or more project, will pay up to 50% of that project. Okay, good. So let's say the Chiefs want to build a $3 billion stadium where Kauffman Stadium is right now. An entertainment district around it. Does the entertainment district count? Does everything that they're going to build count? And they're being told that you're using your current sales tax numbers to set the maximum of what you can get. In Kansas, it's on projections. So if you were Patrick Toohey or one of these people that said, oh, the math doesn't add up, they'll never get 70% paid back in Kansas. Well, if that's the case, those were on projections of the new stadium and everything around it. If you couldn't get to 70% with the new revenue on tax, you're not getting to 50% in Missouri on the old revenue or on the current revenue. I don't have the numbers. Pete said $1.5 billion earlier today between the two teams in sales tax revenue. That clearly is not enough money for the Chiefs to build anything. If it's $750 million each, which it probably isn't, it almost stands to reason the Royals have a lot more sales tax revenue than the Chiefs because they have so many more dates. Is that skewed toward the Royals? Is theirs $1 billion and the Chiefs is only $500 million? And if it's only $500 million and the Chiefs going to spend $1.2 billion to renovate, that's not even close to 50% of what they're spending. I don't know what the max is. The devil here is going to be in the details. I'm not an economist. I'm not an accountant. Trust me, these deals are not equal. I can't tell you which one is better. I'd love to be able to tell you that, like Mayor Q did today. Anybody who tells you which deal is better right now or that they're dead equal is lying and wrong. Nobody's gone through the numbers yet. Do you know how much money the Chiefs and Royals will spend in the next 2 weeks crunching all of the numbers and saying, okay, we've done our projections on what it would be if we move and build new and do this and that. But what are our actual numbers right now? And how much money will that be? And will it really add up to 50%? Seems a stretch to me that would add up to 50%. The reason they want to move or renovate is their revenues aren't high enough. And they know they can more than double them by moving. This is way more complicated than it sounds. It is not over. It is not over. I'm making no predictions, never have. What I've said from the start, I'll repeat again today. No owner has ever turned down 70% for a new stadium. And it looks like Missouri just got really, really close to that number. If it adds up, we'll see if off the old revenues, it adds up to 70% if you add in county and city. That's what they're going to have to do. I'll stand by that. Mayor Q was confident today that they're at 70%. The senator from the Northland, Gregory, was absolutely confident today that they're getting to 70% in matching Kansas. If they do, they got a great chance to keep the teams. That's all I've said all along. Nobody turns down 70%. Welcome to the party, state of Missouri. You've been watching Kansas and their star bonds for 25 years. You're officially on board with the Kansas plan to save the Royals and Chiefs in Missouri. 913-408-7957. Our phone lines are wide open. I'd love to hear from you next on KCMO.
From Leawood to Liberty, it's Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
All right, I'll keep a phone line open in perpetuity here for any official in Johnson County, Wyandotte County, the state of Kansas, the city of Overland Park, Kansas City, Kansas, state of Kansas, that wants to call in and throw in the towel. It's just why, just come on, just quit. Give up. Give up on this thing. Just throw in the towel. Come on, Kansas. Somebody call me and officially make a statement that it's over. Missouri's got it. That's it. It's done. 913-408-7957. Throw in the towel. Here's what could get funny if Kansas stays in play. If Wyandotte County or KCK says, okay, we're going to take the 70% and try to get up to 85% with a tax we're going to put in, or 90%. We may get to a point on this thing where this on each side of the state line are saying, just leave. It's too much. We don't want to give you all this. Can you not see how the teams have played this perfectly now? Even the Royals somehow have come out smelling like a rose on this thing. Remarkable, because they botched almost everything from the start. The Chiefs are very private and close to the vest. They haven't said anything. They've just kind of been along for the ride on this thing. But competition is always good. It may be bad for the taxpayers. Patrick Tuohy went down and spoke at the proceedings against this happening. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like the tax dollars going toward it. I still don't know what it matters, other than the tax money doesn't go to Jefferson City. It goes toward a facility instead of straight into the coffers of Jeff City. I don't really see why it matters. The taxes are already in place. It's not really new taxes for anyone that's going to go spending. Missouri finally got on board with something that, for anybody that votes, it doesn't hurt you. You only get taxed if you go spend money at the new stadium. Then you're in on it and paying for it. That's it. Now, your county, your Democrats may screw you over. The county Democrats may get you in Jackson County or Clay or Wyandotte or Johnson. They may get a hold of your pocket. That's the Democrats. This was the Republicans getting it done without taking any money from the people of Missouri. Not one. Now, it doesn't go into the coffers in Jeff City, so you can make the argument, hey, there's revenue that isn't there. But let's be honest, the revenue always goes up anyway, and it will continue to go up in Jeff City. I think that's a pretty obvious thing. All right, to the phones we go. We got Steven on the line this morning. Hi, Steven. How are you, sir?
Oh, Kevin, what a day, man. Iron sharpens iron. I tell you, you guys deserve some sort of award or something. If they gave journalism awards based on merit, you guys would get it on this story. Mundo caught this all earlier this week, and I sort of follow it, but I didn't even call it. The price tag keeps going up and up, and no one can figure out what they're doing. And then you came in and mentioned the German thing, and that kind of triggered something that they've found a way, I think, to route around the old, what do you call that? The old rolling roof with a screen, I think is what's happening here. They found a way to go around this, and they're going to put in some fan amenity, club goodies underneath. My question is, and no one can give me an answer to this, we found out that the concrete cancer at the K was a total red herring. Why wouldn't Clark just swoop in and buy the K after the Royals leave for a dime, and then use the rolling roof / German cover and move all the Chiefs offices into the K, turn it into a show place? They have a miserable training facility right now. Why wouldn't you keep it?
It's a baseball stadium, and it's going to the ground no matter what. If he's going to do anything, he's going to tear it down. And he's going to build a new football stadium right there. He's not going to do that. I can give you a million reasons.
You can do that too, but
at one point, and this is important. This is important, Steve. At one point, the Chiefs were talking about renovating Arrowhead and having all of their facilities in Kansas. Now, the question is, I'm up against time here today. I appreciate you calling in. The question is, would Kansas allow star bonds if the Chiefs want to build a whole bunch of football stadiums for youth football? Think of what Sporting Kansas City has done with soccer. If they want to build their corporate offices, we've talked about the piece of land at Johnson Drive and 435 in Shawnee. If they wanted to put their headquarters there, their indoor practice facility, everything that they have located in Kansas, would Kansas provide star bonds for that? And the team would get to play in Missouri. I don't know that that's even possible. Doesn't sound like it. KCMO, Uncanceled, continues right after this.
From Overland Park to Oak Grove, it's Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
We're back on KCMO Talk Radio. It's great to have you with us on this Thursday with a lot of news going on. We're going to get to a whole bunch of it in this segment. We just got word that Donald Trump got off the phone with Xi Jinping after an hour-and-a-half phone call where the president says he has agreed to a trade deal with China and has agreed to more tariff talks amid a trade standoff and concerns over rare earths. This story says that Trump has accepted an invitation to China, but I don't read it that way. I just concluded a very good call with President Xi of China, Trump said, discussing the intricacies of our recently made and agreed-to trade deal, he posted on Truth Social. The call lasted approximately 1.5 hours and resulted in a very positive conclusion for both countries. Trump continued. He said both a future meeting between senior leaderships will come shortly. There should no longer be any questions respecting the complexity of rare earth products. Our respective teams will meet at a location to be determined and iron that out. Trump also accepted an invitation to China, it says, but that's not the way this reads. Trump posted, quote, during the conversation, President Xi graciously invited the First Lady and me to visit China, and I reciprocated. Reciprocated means he offered Xi to come to D.C. So that means they've offered each other. He went on to say, as presidents of two great nations, this is something we both look forward to doing. I can't imagine that they're going to meet like a week apart or 2 weeks apart in both countries, but they may. And that may be part of this negotiation. I've been saying on my podcast for a while, I said the interesting thing is when they do this, they're going to be together. There will be a photo op. And what are the chances Trump's going to fly to China and do it there? Because Trump's basically said this stuff is all on my terms. The rules are changing. Whatever we get is better for America than what we had. And I'm setting the rules. So it doesn't seem to me like he's going to get on his airplane and go do it. But he went to Saudi Arabia. That was for business investment. So if Trump is working out a deal and finishes all this and goes to China about some sort of a business investment plan, I could see him going there. If not, maybe it's two news events where they're together, one in D.C., one in China. I don't really know. Trump continued, the conversation was focused on almost entirely on trade. Nothing was discussed concerning Russia and Ukraine or Iran. And he believes the outcome of all this is outstanding, and everybody should be optimistic that things are good between, he said, two great countries, basically. He said, we got two great nations here, and we're going to be proud to work together, as we should. Pretty good stuff from Donald Trump. We'll see what that means and where this goes. It sounds like they're getting very close with a lot of different countries. We know that Trump spoke with Putin on the phone yesterday about the war. We know the German chancellor is in D.C. today. That has to do a lot with trade with the United States and Germany, but also Germany, more than any other European country now, appears to be pushing that war and funding it and wanting that war. So there are going to be some real differences between the German chancellor today and Donald Trump on that war. It's fascinating times we live in, folks. I mean, just completely and utterly fascinating. So I don't know. I've never met Manny Abarca, the legislator in Jackson County, but Jackson County's on the clock here. They're going to need to come up with something for the Royals and Chiefs. They didn't pass the 3/8 sales tax last time. They're on the clock. Essentially what Missouri is telling the teams, we're in for half, but your county and city have to come up with the other 20 to 25% to match Kansas if that's what you're going to do. So Jackson County is kind of an important place. Manny Abarca's story, this is the weirdest story ever. I didn't hear, I assume Pete addressed this at some point today or something. I didn't hear him talk about it.
Today he did.
Not today. This is one of the weirdest stories ever. And I don't like really get into the personal stories, but now it's a legal story because Manny Abarca on the Jackson County Legislature, who, by the way, is Bob Fesco's source over at 96.5 The Fan. He's had him on a million times. And when Fesco says, I've talked to some people, he's got a relationship with this guy. And so when he says, I talked to somebody who, it's always, Abarca's been on there a million times. That's his guy. So I'm not confirming it's his source, but it's almost certainly his source because he has him on and they become so friendly. Abarca has been charged with domestic battery in Johnson County. And this is from an incident that allegedly happened last Thursday in Shawnee, where apparently his ex-wife and child live. This is a misdemeanor charge. And then a Kansas City, Missouri municipal judge slapped a violation of protection order on Manny Abarca, and it complicates possible diversion. He took his son a week ago and failed to return him, and a missing persons report was filed out in Johnson County and Shawnee. But Manny Abarca kept working, appearing virtually, but not in public. He was released on $1,500 bond. This could be anything from touching the ex-wife in a rude manner to physically harming her. Let me just set the record straight going forward on Uncanceled so you know who I am and what I'm about. I'm one of the very few people that will outwardly state this. I do not believe women immediately when they come forward. I don't. We've been through that, and we made too many mistakes. The worst mistake maybe was Trevor Bauer, a baseball pitcher in Major League Baseball, who 2 days ago won a $310,000 judgment from a judge from a woman that accused him of things that he was never arrested for, never charged with, never convicted of, and he never paid her. They signed a non-disclosure agreement that said she can't talk about it anymore, and he collected $1 from her. 21 times she went out there on social media and said, oh, I collected money from him. He's a loser. He's a threat. I did. So he went back to court, and now she owes him $310,000, and she says she's not going to pay it. Trevor Bauer's an odd dude. I'm not defending his way of life, his sexual orientation, the things that he does. It was weird, and baseball has blackballed him. He's an odd duck, but he's not a criminal. And the woman was wrong, and it's been proven out in court after court and police department after police department. I'm not convicting Manny Abarca of anything today. That isn't happening. If you like jumping on people from Jackson County for being bad Democrats or bad legislators or bad whatever, knock yourself out. We don't know what happened last week. This absolutely could be, not saying it is, could be a father that loves his son and thinks he's in danger with the mom. And it's simply a domestic dispute over where the kid ought to be. I don't think the kid's in any harm. Abarca was released on $1,500, and we don't know if the child has been returned to the mother at this point. But I just want you to know, on all of these cases going forward, you're not going to hear me jump to the woman's side every time. And ladies listening, do not think that's sexist. Our country has functioned a long time properly, innocent until proven guilty. Equal scales of justice. We have done that. Democrats in this country that have pitted women against men, whites against blacks, Christians against Muslims or Jews or whatever, every straight people from gay people, every wedge they can find to pit people against one another in this country, they've done. And they got us to a point where we were no questions asked. A woman comes forward and says a guy did something wrong. You got to support the woman immediately and believe her. We hear you, ma'am. We hear you. Be strong, girl. Ask yourself this. Do you believe that crazy lady in that department store that went after Trump and won the civil lawsuit against him? That he took that ugly woman into a changing room and raped her. Do you believe that story? I don't. I don't think you do either. And when you've heard the lady, she doesn't even recall the events. She did so many bizarre interviews trying to recall what happened and recant the events. It's just ridiculous. It's absurd. But they found the right court and the right jury, and Trump lost a civil case, not a criminal case, a civil case Trump lost because the jurisdiction and a crazy lady. We cannot believe this at all times. I also really skirt the edges of this conversation by telling you that I know that it's a fact that women hurt men too, and they never press charges. I've seen it. The first time I saw it was in college with a buddy who had a girlfriend who was so crazy, she kicked the living daylights out of him, cracked open a window, and jumped out the second story. I've seen dudes with scratch marks and bruises and slap marks on their face, and they don't hit their wives or girlfriends back. They don't press charges. I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying we don't treat these incidents equally. We never have. We never will. Men are stronger than women, so we will not treat them equally. And I understand that the violent crimes that occur here are not equal. Men do all kinds of horrible things to women that women don't do to men. It's true in a much larger number. But when these stories come out, and I just think this is important for our society, we cannot immediately believe Manny Abarca's ex-wife. We just can't. You can't. We haven't seen any evidence yet, and I don't know what this story's about, and so I'm not going there. I think it's one you step forward with extreme caution if you want to go pouncing on Manny Abarca or something like that today. I just don't think it's a particularly great idea. The other thing that has happened is this Biden judge in Colorado has stopped the family of the worst terrorist of all time from being deported. We had some fun yesterday about this clown terrorist that failed in every way. And I guess I didn't realize this yesterday. The reason his shirt was off was he burned himself. His shirt was on fire. So he not only failed miserably at everything he tried to do, he was getting his family deported. And now a judge named Gordon Gallagher has stepped in. This is a Biden-appointed judge in Colorado that has vacated the order. So a judge can vacate the order until it gets appealed so that it has essentially stopped it temporarily. We'll see. Trump's pretty busy on the phone with Xi and the German chancellor and Putin. This is where you hope he's hired the right people beneath him, that they get on this and expedite this. Get some sort of court order, a stay. You've had the Supreme Court backing you up on this topic at almost every level possible, that these federal judges can't do this stuff. Find a way, make an example, get these people out of the country. The best deterrence to crime and illegal immigration and all these other things is to show people you're not having it. Get them out. Send them home wherever home is, or send them wherever you want to send them. Third country that is a partner of ours that we're paying to take people. I really don't care. It is unbelievable, these leftist judges and what they're trying to do to Donald Trump. What kind of case can you make for five? This is a woman and 5 illegal children, six more people, married to a terrorist, in custody, video evidence, we've seen what he did. They're all here illegally, and we've got our judges trying to protect their right to stay here. It's unfathomable in America 2025. It makes me kind of sick. 913-408-7957. Mark joins us next. We'll get into the fun department. The toys are up next on KCMO. Best Offer KC is Kansas City's place for moving your home fast. When you need to sell and move on to the next chapter in your life, whatever it may be, you can do it very quickly with Best Offer KC. Maybe you don't want to clean up. Maybe you don't want to do repairs. Maybe you just don't want people in your house showing your house because you're suffering from an illness and need to move. Maybe it's a house you've inherited. Maybe it's just old age and you're moving into a facility. Move the house quickly. Best Offer KC will come in. They'll give you a fair, fast estimate. They'll even lend you money to help you move before closing if that's your goal. They really like to help people solve problems. That's number one. BestOfferKC.com. 913-338-SOLD. That's 338-SOLD. If you need to move your house fast, over 10% of the sales in Kansas City every year are not done with a realtor. They're not done with showings. If you're ready to sell and you got to go, BestOfferKC.com, helping you leave the hassle behind.
From Gardner to Grain Valley, it's Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Oh, stock market got a nice little bump here as Trump announced that he had a great call with Xi. I don't understand the stock market. I don't. These things have been volatile, going up and down. Whatever gains Trump gets, and it will be gains, it's not going to be worse than it was before. Whatever gains he makes are a win for America. Why would the stock market wait for him to say, oh, I talked to Xi, and then the stock market goes up? It's like there's going to be gains. This is unbelievable. The trade deficit in March, our national trade deficit in March, before the tariff thing started, $138.3 billion. We were in the hole on a trade deficit. In April, $61.6 billion. Cut it more than in half in 1 month. Holy smokes, you kidding me? Exports from the United States to other countries were up 3% in April. So now countries are, what happened? Oh, we're not doing business with you. You're putting tariffs on us. Nope. What happened was other countries called and said, we better do business with these people. Our exports went up. Imports were down 16.3% with absolutely no inflation. Zero. It was actually better than the year before. April 25 was better than April 24. They've been wrong on all of this so far. The biggest difference was with Ireland, where pharmaceuticals are a big thing. We had a $29.3 billion trade deficit with Ireland in in March. And in April, it was only $9.5 billion. Cut about 70% of it out with Ireland in 1 month. I mean, I don't know how you look at these numbers and don't think they're good. There's any other way to look at it. And so we expect more good news on the China front. But again, any little gain is a gain. It's just what is the finish line? What's the destination? When do we get there? So the stock market going up and down has just been crazy to me because there's going to be good things for the United States here. There's no doubt about that. Mark Van Sickle with us. Mark Van Parlay. Boy, he's got a lot of action today. The Royals are playing a doubleheader, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
How excited are you?
Is coming back.
Do you get a chance to, like, how many innings of Royals baseball, if they play 18 innings today, how many will you be able to watch?
It's a good question. I'll be in the car a little bit, so maybe listen back and forth. When I'm home, I'll try to turn it on.
Yeah.
I'll say 12 innings out of the 18.
12 of the 18. Do you do sit down with the girls? Do they like watching? Do you watch as a family sometimes?
They like to watch it occasionally. Usually it's me watching and they're just playing in the background.
Yeah. I watch pretty intently while Miss Jessica's on her phone.
Mm-hmm.
But she sees it. You know, she waits for like a crack of the bat and Ryan LaFleur to go, oh, you know, like that.
Then she'll look up.
And then she'll look up. Yeah. She likes the replays are good for Jessica.
Oh, yeah.
Loves that phone, man. I'm telling you. Did you see the story with the Chiefs? Chiefs fans have hated this guy forever, and there's really no reason to. Derek Carr, the former Raiders quarterback,
mm-hmm.
You know, he retired.
Yep.
You see what he left on the table?
A lot of money.
$30 million.
Yeah.
So this reminds me a little bit of an old Royals pitcher named Gil Mesh.
Oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah. Gil Mesh had a guaranteed contract with the Royals, but wanted to go back, I think, to Louisiana, where he was from, and be with his family. He just wanted to retire from baseball. He had a year left for maybe $6 to $8 million he had left on his contract, and he just walked away.
Yeah, that was so crazy back
in
that day.
And I said, at the time, I remember saying, if I was Gil Mesh, I'd go to the Royals and say, look, I'll split the difference with you. I'm going to walk away. Although I could come here and phone this season in and take this money from you. I'm going to walk away, but let's take half the money and give it to charity. No, let's say it was $8 million. What I said was, tell the Royals you want $4 million. They can give $2 million to Royals charities, and Mesh could pick $2 million to give to the charity of his choice. And the Royals would save $4 million, and Mesh would get $0. Pretty good idea, right?
Pretty good idea, yeah.
So Derek Carr says he felt terrible. He had a shoulder injury. He's now the quarterback of the Saints, or was, and was going to be rehabbing all year and didn't even know if he'd play. He made his roster bonus in March. They gave him his $10 million roster bonus, and they kept him. He felt so guilty that he didn't think he'd be able to play. He said, I should just retire and save you your $30 million. Who does that? He's devoutly Christian.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude.
He's involved in ministries. His family looks just rock solid. He seems like a great guy. We booed this man a lot in Kansas City, and maybe we should not have booed him so much.
If he had been with another organization, he probably would have been better, too.
Right, because I think most people see the same kind of thing with Kirk Cousins, right?
Yeah.
He's a likable guy, and most quarterbacks are conservative, and a lot of them are pretty Christian, pretty outward about it.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty neat deal. So Derek Carr, if you didn't like him as a Raider, you will like him as a retired guy. He made $180 million in his career, but still, ask yourself the question, because I'm being honest with you. I don't think I could have done it.
I'll remember him as a saint.
That's
There you go.
Could you have left $30 million on the table?
I mean, me personally, right now.
No, but if you'd made 180,
Yeah, it still would have been tough for me.
it's still $30 million to walk away from. And maybe you negotiate it and say, let's do something amazing with charity. I'm going to free this up. All right. I'll tell you what, I'll free this up. You gave me this $10 million bonus. I'm going to take $2 million of the $10 million. If you throw another $10 million in, and we'll do it all for charity. Something like that. Letting the team completely off the hook because they made a bad deal or they're stuck in a spot, not my favorite things. You know why? Because owners get tax dollars from people to build stadiums. If you haven't heard, the Chiefs and Royals are staying in Missouri. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Uncanceled. The Vince Show is up next.